Welcome back to the channel. This is Wasabi. Today we're following the 808 from King's Clan in his Bourrasque. We're on the Live Oaks map and he's in his Tier 8 premium French tank, the Bourrasque, which is a medium tank, and we'll see how well he does. We've had another video previously with the 808 and on Guerrilla in an assault mode. This is a standard random battle mode. So he's having a bit of trouble navigating through the traffic, but hasn't lost any damage through ramming, which is good. So he's heading off to the town area, just on the edge of the town, to spot traffic coming in. That's what I'm thinking. So he's heading for a good bush just right next to this small house next to the edge of the lake. There's a fair amount of traffic. Tanks going down the zero line, which is a traditional way. So he's automatically, spotted Chrysler GF and managed to put one shot into him, and then two. That's the capacity of the Bourrasque chamber, and he has to reload now, which is taking about 20 seconds. So he's spotted quite a few tanks now, including an SU-130 PM. So he's just drawing back through the bush to get unspotted, completely unspotted. Gets one shot into the SU-130 PM, or the half-past-1, as Stewie JP likes to call it. And he's hit the turtle, but didn't penetrate. But he's picking up spotting damage, so he's already got nearly 1.5k spotting damage, and he's done just over 1,000 damage in his own. So there's an ISU-152 that he's got his sights on, and he's just about to reload. So here we go, two shots. First one goes in and the second one misses, unfortunately. But the turtle keeps going, and we'll see if he managed to do any more damage to that. So at the moment he's just passive spotting, sitting in this bush, quite a powerful position to capture the heavy tanks and those who are basically getting into the village. He's now spotted a charioteer who's, for some reason, gone into the lake. Now, he might have thought that was a good spot to try and shoot tanks that were going over the thing, but he's got full whack in terms of spotting damage on that charioteer. So he's just looking around to see what other opportunities he's got, and also see whether any of the tanks that have come through the village are getting a bit too close to him. So he's noticed the Renegade, for example, is within a short distance of him, but he's trying to tax the ISU-152 as he's going back, which he managed to do. And that brings his damage up to just under 1.8k, but he's also picked up more spotting damage, so from that charioteer, so on 2.7 spotting damage, so he's in a really good position here. They're quite up on hit points over the enemy team, although they're down one tank. Oh, now that's equal. They've managed to equalise there, but early days yet, so let's just keep track of how he's going. Now, the 808, I believe, is marking his tank, so traditionally, when people are getting close to their 3 mark, they're shooting premium ammo the whole time, but he's not doing that at the moment. He's managed to set that Renegade on fire with his second shot, which is good, so he's picked up some extra damage from that, probably shooting into the engine deck because he was side on. That's an important principle for any sort of medium tank. Try and get shots that are to the side of the tanks. So tries to take out the Renegade, but someone else does that before he gets there, which is fine, but he does pick up some additional spotting damage. Does take a big hit from the SU-130 PM, so he's just turning around to face that tank to see if he can put some damage back into him. But that Soviet tank destroyer has managed to get back under cover. So here he's got a couple of tanks that are now pretty much one-shots. Puts a critical shot into the turtle and then kills him, and again he's got to reload, so he's going to stay out of the way of the defender, but before he gets a chance to do any damage to the defender goes down. So it's one thing about the fact that he's taking damage out of those tanks before they get to face the tanks coming up from the defending side, is that yeah, he's basically taxing them for damage, so that makes it easier for the his own teammates to basically kill them. So he's playing two roles there, one spotting and one taking damage himself from those tanks. And yeah, that's giving his own team quite a significant advantage. So he's already contributed nearly 6,000 damage in both damage he's done himself and damage that he's assisted by spotting the enemy tanks. So now what you see here is he's backing up in reverse, and he's doing that to make sure that if he does spot an enemy tank, he can basically get out of the way really quickly. He gets the IS-3, he does take a hit, but he can afford to do that, but he's now pretty much one-shotable. So he's also lit that IS-3A and is taking again some additional spotting damage out of him. Now, town areas are good for brawling because essentially you can get back into cover relatively quickly because of the hard cover that buildings do give you. Some of these buildings are destructible, of course, so they won't stand up to an HE hit, but as is just demonstrated by driving through one. But the bigger buildings are all hard cover, so once you get behind them, obviously you're safe from shots. Assuming that you're not getting an angle from behind or to the side that you weren't aware of. So basically they're now two tanks up. We can also see from the zero line that the tanks that were on that side have basically been destroyed. The enemy had two remaining vehicles there, but our tank destroyers pulled back to basically defend the cap area. So it's quite possible that additional tanks will be spotted. Now, I did spot the Scorpion. Didn't look like he was spotted. Sixth Sense didn't go off, but the Scorpion did indicate that he was spotted, and he's now managed to put two shots into him, taking a total of 714 damage out of him. So now he's got a pretty good awareness of where the enemy tanks are. The IS-3A is still there in the city. He may need to help with that. But he's again just waiting to reload, puts a damage shot in terms of critical damage, but doesn't manage to do any additional hit points on it. But because he's destroyed that track and the enemy tank got destroyed after that, he's basically picked up more assisting damage. So he's now on just on total of 8,000 total damage in terms of assisted and direct damage that he's done, which is a pretty good result. He's just trying to line up the Scorpion, but Scorpion goes down to the Lance and C. So yeah, very difficult when you're one tank being attacked by two to basically stay out of the way, but he did manage to stay unspotted. Now the Centurion 5-1 on the enemy side that was on the left has become spotted, but he's also spotted the Utis, and the Utis 03 is now taken out of the game. So that's essentially one Centurion 5-1 on a small amount of hit points, and the GW Tiger P. So the interesting thing here is, although he was one shot compared to the IS-3A and the SU-130 PM, the Centurion 5-1 has only got about a 200 alpha-ish hit, so you can afford to take one hit, which he does, and he puts the killing shot into the Centurion, and that's basically the game. So well done, and we'll go and look at the end plates. So another awesome result from the 808, not just picked up the Ace Tanker badge again on this tank, but also received his third mark of excellence, which means his average damage is above 95% of all the other players over the last 2 weeks. He's also picked up Patrol Duty and Scout badges, as well as Confederate and the High Caliber Award. He's managed to do more than double the amount of damage that any other tank on his team has done, and achieved 1693 base experience, which is a pretty high result in terms of Ace Tanker, which tends to be around about 1300 base experience. He's of the 22 shots he fired, 19 connected and 13 penetrated, and you can see he's picked up almost equal the amount of damage that he did in terms of assisting damage, and nearly 265,000 credits. Well done.